Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my co-partner, Anthony. This is a Judo podcast for Judo players by two Judo players. So, Anthony, how you doing?
I'm exhausted.
You're tired?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell people why you're exhausted and tired, or just want to say you've been traveling?
So I've been traveling. I had my wedding. That was I was already married, as you know, but I had my wedding this past weekend that was postponed due to COVID for a year. Luckily my father-in-law planned most of it, but still it was like kind of hectic. And the part that I did not tell you, I think I didn't tell you yet, is that right before I was about to fly, I got really sick. I don't know if I told you.
Yeah.
So I got really
sick.
I got sick. I was really sick. And then I went to get a COVID test. And I didn't tell my wife. My wife was on the East Coast already. I didn't tell my wife because she was like freaking out over all the planning. And then the COVID test was negative. So I figured it was just the stress and like lack of sleep from all the stuff that's been going on, like helping the dojo transition to the system and just like training and work and everything mixed together. So I just haven't been sleeping a lot. And so, yeah, I was trying to like take vitamin C and sleep and rest and try and recover in time for the flight for the wedding. And then my wife calls me and was like, our taxes are due this Friday. I didn't do them yet. And then I was like, oh my God. So I had to scramble around the house looking for all our tax documentation, scan them, and then like send it to our accountant.
What do you mean? Like your house taxes or what?
We filed an extension back in April.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for our American listeners to know what we're talking about, but in most other countries, the government tells you how much you owe. You don't have to go around doing this kind of crap every year. The government knows how much you owe. That's how they come and get you, right? If you
they want to see if you're going to lie. They're like, let's see what they say this year.
Yeah. So luckily I got everything done, and then I had to do the laundry and prepare for my parents to stay over the night because I went to pick them up, and then they stayed overnight to go to the airport since I live close to the airport, and prepared stuff for the dog sitter. So it was quite a ride. And on the way back, my flight got delayed. Also, you probably can still kind of see it on my eyes, but the night before, my in-laws, they have a cat, and I'm allergic to cats.
And the cat punched you in the face. The cat was like, what's up, man?
So
Boom,
the
right
cat
in the face.
I'm really allergic to passed away. They used to have two cats. The one I'm really allergic to passed away, but the other cat, I was fine the whole time. But right before I left, I sat on their floor because we had a lot of people over. So then didn't have seats, and I touched the carpet, and then I didn't know I touched my eyes, and it just like poofed up.
And then bam, you had pink eye.
Yeah. So it was a rough ride back, and my flight got delayed. So, then I had to drive my parents back an hour back to their place and back here, and back to work next day. And then
just thinking about it, just my eyes. Oh no.
Yeah, back to work now. And now I have to do the podcast.
When you fly, you're a tall guy. Do you try to get an aisle seat, or do you want the window seat? Where do you
aisle seat? It has to be the aisle seat, unless I'm sitting next to my wife or someone I know and they're fine with me like splitting my knee over to their side. Has the aisle seat because I put my knee out into the aisle, and I'm not the only in the beginning many years ago. I was the only person with that problem, but the seats have been getting smaller and smaller. So I'm seeing more and more people with my problem, and it's not super uncomfortable. It's just when you're so tired and you fall asleep, and then someone needs to go to a restroom, or a kid's running down the aisle, and then they're serving drinks, and you get like shoulder checked, and then you just wake up. It's kind of like a mini torture experiment, you know, like every time you fall asleep, someone shoulder checks you and wakes you up. So that was my weekend.
That's why I'm a driver. I like driving anywhere. I will drive anywhere in the continental US. I'll even drive to Alaska if I have to. I'm a driver. I like driving. But we actually might fly somewhere. I don't know when exactly, but we'll look it up in a little bit. So that's a pretty interesting experience you had right there. So that sounds fun. Myself, I had a very heart attack experience, you'd say, maybe this past week, because as most people know in the show, I talk about it. Mm-hmm. I'm a working actor in Los Angeles. I'm part of the SAG union, and how the unions work here in LA. Well, how most unions work is that we support all unions, and there's many unions in working in making film production. Some people might know, some people might not know. IATSE, which is in charge of most of the crew, was going to go on strike this Sunday if they didn't strike a new agreement. And for me, I'm like, no, why? I'm so close to qualifying for my pension and my health insurance this year. So I'm not going to say how many days I need, but I'm like, let's just put it, I'll tell you how many days. I was at the beginning of this month, I was 9 days short. 9 days short of qualifying for my insurance. And last time we had the writer's strike lasted 3 months. So if this strike even lasted 3 months, I'd be like, that's the end of the year. I'm screwed. I'm not going to get insurance this year because these guys went on strike. This sucks. It sucks enough. Last year, I lost my insurance. I had to go on some other stuff. Yeah. And I didn't get a qualify for my pension, one of my pension points last year because of COVID. I was very close last year too. Like, it was crazy. I was only like, I think 20 days short. So even with COVID, I was just 20 days short. It's like so close, but I can understand them as like, okay, COVID happened. So close, but I'm short. Happens. This time, if I would have lost it for 9 days because when people went on strike, I would be fuming. And I feel like
they should have made adjustments for COVID and lowered the standards a bit.
Not my union, not mine. We had SAG had a terrible negotiation for our last contract. That's why some stuff changed in my union, but. So that's what happened to me. I was like worried, like, please don't go on strike.
Wait, so they're not striking anymore? Like that were sorted out a deal?
No, they negotiated a deal. Like, I think there was a couple hours left to spare before they're going to go on strike. They hammered out a deal, a preemptive deal. Then it has to go right now to IATSE to get like fully finished. I don't know like what the concessions are, whatnot. But as of right now, they're not going to strike.
Okay.
You jinx me, Anthony. All right. I have 3 days lined up this week. All right.
It's good. I have
a few days lined up next week too already. So I'm going to get my insurance this year.
Are you going to be able to teach Saturday class then?
Yes, I will be at Saturday class this weekend.
Okay, good.
As of right now, I'm not working Friday just yet, but hey, things always change.
I heard some of our students missed me since I wasn't there. So good.
Yes. We did have some people on our Saturday class ask, hey, where's Anthony at? Where's Anthony? Why is he not here? I'm like, oh, he's off on vacation. He's getting married. Like, then everybody asks another question. I thought Anthony was married. He is, but this is the ceremony part. All right.
That's what everyone's
legally
saying.
Yeah. He is legally married to his wife already. They did justice of peace. They did that small ceremony, smart thing. That's what I would do too. That's what I did actually too.
Yeah, I actually did it so I can get health insurance on my wife's insurance to do my knee surgery.
This damn health insurance.
It's such an American thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll work any SAG job. I'll take any SAG job as long as I qualify for my insurance. I say no to very few things.
It wasn't just a knee surgery. I mean, we bought a house, so we would have saved thousands of dollars in tax, and then
and you love her and care about her.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's that too. Thanks for reminding me to say that. Yeah, it was the tax, the love, and the knee surgery.
The tax love.
Yeah, I just remember we were rushing. We got married on December 27th or something. It's it has to be right before the end of the year, or we can't file jointly. So
yeah, for tax purposes, honey, we have to get married by this day right here. We can't do joint taxes. Okay, we have to get married this date. No, and the funny thing, I guess a little funny story about Anthony. He was so tired the day of his wedding. He was supposed to go to Justice of Peace. He told his friend, "Hey, just go for me."
I remember Travis was he was visiting us.
You told Travis to go for you, didn't you?
Yeah, he already planned to come visit LA. Our friend Johnny, who we had on the podcast, paid for his ticket. I offered to chip in, but because Travis wasn't in a very good financial situation at the time. So he paid for him to travel and train with us. And in hindsight, it wasn't a very good time to go because that was holidays and we didn't really have our numbers at the dojo wasn't very, a lot of people were coming because they were traveling for vacation and seeing family for Thanksgiving and then Christmas. But I paid for all his meals and he stayed with me and stuff. And then originally I didn't plan to be getting married. It was a last minute thing. So he ended up being the only person at our justice, at the courthouse with us. He was our witness. I just remember waking up early and like dreading going to the courthouse, and then my wife wouldn't let me wear shorts, so I actually had to put on.
That's another funny thing right there. It says in the paperwork right there, when you go to Justice of the Peace to get married, you have to be wearing a suit or you have to be dressed up.
No, it doesn't.
It does. I swear to God, it does. I swear it says that. I ended up wearing
a t-shirt and jeans, I think.
Who wore t-shirt and jeans to get married?
I did.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure I wore t-shirt and jeans.
This guy.
My wife was just like, no shorts, because I wear shorts all the time. We're in LA.
Shorts.
Which reminds me that you heard me say the story before, but I work from home. And when I lived in Hollywood, I lived in an apartment that was full of influencers and people who came to LA trying to be actors and stuff, trying to make it. And they're always dressed really nicely. Meanwhile, I'm working from home. Only time I leave the house was to walk my dog and go to jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and Judo. And people always saw me carrying my gi and my bag and my shorts and stuff. And one day, within a week, 4 people stopped me in the elevator and was like, "Are you a professional fighter? We only see you in workout in shorts and workout gear." And I'm no, I just work from home.
It's that funny thing. I had a funny thing like that happen this past weekend, because I always wear some sort of MMA shirt or an MMA brand sweater or hat or something that shows martial arts on it. Just the way my clothes is nowadays. So I went to go get a COVID test for one of my jobs on Saturday, and I had on one of my UFC sweaters. I was going to go I went to my COVID test in the morning, then I was going to go do my Saturday class. So I go in there and the guy sees my UFC sweater, like, "Hey, UFC, man, you a professional fighter?" Yes. I'm a professional fighter because I have a UFC sweater on. Does every person wearing a jersey outside wearing a freaking
there's a guy at our dojo wears UFC everything.
Yeah. Oh, and he just has fighting friends.
Yeah, he does have fighting friends. True.
But I always get that. I don't know, I might give off that vibe or something. I'm a professional fighter, but I've always had that since I was in college. And I would wear a UFC hat or a Bellator or something, Pride sweater or shirt or something.
I think UFC is better than those tap out shirts and Ed Hardy shirts from back then.
I used to wear a bunch of tap out shirts. I never got Ed Hardy. Never got those ugly Ed Hardy ones or the Extreme Couture, but I wore tap out shirts. But they're simple and clean. I like the simple look.
They're not that high quality. That's the thing. I don't mind the branding, but the quality has to be there, No,
not anymore. But all right, so let's get over that. Let's get over this stuff. All right, so our last episode, we were talking a little bit about sumo, and I know, I asked him about how big were the people in the weight class and stuff. Anthony, you said you had an update on that.
It wasn't an update. It's more like a correction, because you know how when I talk, I kind of just now we kind of drifted off into a separate thing. You asked me. I only realized this when I was went back and was re-editing some parts of the video, and you asked me whether the people at the sumo tournament were fat, was what you said, and then I was like, "Well, that's fat." You said fat.
Were they big boned? Were they big people?
So I started with, it's actually a misconception, and then from there on, I went on to talking about the mawashi and stuff, and I forgot to go back to that topic. So the misconception is actually most sumo wrestlers are not fat. They're actually more muscle than fat under there. And they're extremely flexible. They can do splits. They're extremely flexible. I read some paper where they did a study, and their fat density, their muscle density is actually higher than wrestlers. They actually have more muscle to fat ratio than wrestlers.
Well, you got a lot of weight to carry, so I expect you to have some muscle.
So it's a misconception that the pro sumo wrestlers are fat. There are some fat ones out there. I'm not going to, obviously, but if you actually watch sumo wrestling, you see their muscles, the shape of their muscles bulging out on their legs, their butt, their thighs, their arms. Most of the fat is definitely around the belly and the chest area, but everywhere else is just pure muscle, and it's just insane. So that was the clarification I wanted to make.
Well, to me, it comes from where I get that from is that when I look at the Japanese fighters and the Japanese, when I watch an NHK or something, you can see the more muscular ones, the ones that has their traps are built, their arms are built and stuff. You can see their strength on them, their big boy strength. But when I watch when I used to watch and stuff that you went to go see that one weekend in Little Tokyo, those players don't look as strong as the Japanese players.
They were. I don't want to call them fat, but there was a couple of people that were definitely muscle and not fat.
Yeah.
But most of the bigger guys, like the 400 pound range kind of people, they're just fat. They're not Japanese sumo wrestler muscle. They don't, the training is brutal. Like, maybe I'll link some of the, in the description, some of the training, on videos, but it's brutal. And all they do is train all day. They don't have a life. They literally live at the stable, eat, sleep, and train and do chores. That's all they do until they retire. So eat, sleep, train, and fight. And
they also play golf and
well, you don't get the luxury of doing that kind of stuff until you get higher rank, and most people don't get to those upper ranks. So if you just train all day and eat all day, then there's no how. It's really hard to get freaking fat when you train that insane amount.
You're going to get that big bulk muscle, which, like I said, the Japanese players, the ones you see on the big tournaments in Japan, they have that big bulk muscle. So you can see that. And there's some that don't, like, what's that Georgian player that,
Tochinoshin.
Sounds terrible.
Tochinoshin.
Is that the one with the big chichis?
You're talking about Bulgarian.
Is he Bulgarian? Okay.
There's a Bulgarian guy that has big chest.
Yeah.
His name is Aoyama.
He's strong, but you could see that, like, he's also got some, he got some fat on that boy.
Tochinoshin is just he before his knee injury is causing him to kind of be past his prime now, but he just used to lift 300-400 pound wrestlers up and just carry them out the ring. So it's not fat. Fat doesn't do that.
He's tall too, isn't he? He's tall. Like what? He's 6 something.
So, one of the recent underdogs a lot of people like to root for is called Enho. He's one of the smallest sumo wrestlers. And when you see him come up against other people, he's like this tiny little guy, but he's like 6'2". He just looks tiny next to these guys, but he's like 6'2". So yeah, but that's all I want to clarify. They're not fat, and I don't want to turn it into another sumo episode. So
no, we're going to continue on. So another thing to get back to, like the news in judo and stuff, is that this past week or this week, a little bit last week, sometime this week,
last week.
Yeah. But they're still posting stuff now. But okay, so last week was one of the first big major judo tournaments after the Olympics, and it was the Paris Grand Slam. And Paris Grand Slam.
Yes, Paris Grand Slam.
Yeah, the reason it's one of the biggest ones because it's one of the Grand Slams, so it's worth the most points. But the interesting about this tournament is that this is actually going to be your first look at the players of the future. Now, most of the players here, these are the people that are expected to go to Paris for the Olympics in 3 years, right, Anthony?
Yeah, 3 years, 2024.
Yeah, so in 3 years.
It's less than 3 years. So like 2 years and 3-4 months. Yeah.
Damn, just thinking about time flying, man.
Yeah.
But so this is a look into the future to see who's going to be coming up, who's to look out for, who's going to do well, what countries like in a rebuilding stage right now. Like America, we've been in a rebuilding stage for a while now because we lost some players.
I wouldn't even call it rebuilding, but I would call it trying to not die.
It's call it that. Negative. Did you see any matches, or were you any surprised in anything that happened?
I was, like I said, I was so busy that I didn't really see matches, but I saw Instagram clips of like there was a girl from crap. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember her name. Let me look it up. I have it all pretty much open inside right here.
Okay.
Russia. This Russian girl. I'm trying to see her name. Fighting a Spanish girl. She just did this beautiful I sent it to you. She did this beautiful ashiguruma where the girl just like flipped like it was kata. Like, it was like insane. And
there was some really cool throws in it. I didn't get to watch any of it either. I was going to watch it this weekend when I was going to do laundry. That's when I normally catch up on my stuff. I do laundry and I just watch videos. But I got caught up watching the One Championships kickboxing tournament they just had a week ago. So I got caught up watching that, so I didn't get to watch all the judo, but I watched all the highlights and get them all.
I want to go back and watch it because I try to watch all the fights, but it's impossible to watch every single tournament. Especially some of them are just like Pan Ams, and it's like impossible to watch Pan Ams, for example, right? And also the level of judo is just not the same. But Paris Grand Slam and Osaka / Tokyo Grand Slam are the Grand Slams that I usually watch the most, because they are usually, to me, the most exciting and most highly anticipated tournaments of the year.
Yeah, those are usually the biggest ones.
Yeah, those are usually the biggest ones. And then there's obviously another Grand Slam that's like usually in Hungary or Turkey or somewhere. But I don't really watch that one. I'd still watch it, but I don't follow as closely as Paris Grand Slam, because most of my favorite fighters don't usually fight there.
Yeah. So it was a bigger tournament. If you want to know like how things turned out, of course, I'm gonna go over to the top. Let's go over the top 6 countries, because it makes it interesting. So Japan came out number 1, 7 gold medals, 2 silver, 2 bronze. And then they placed in the other top position, which is 5th and 7th place. So of course, Japan did really well. There's actually one Japanese player. I can't remember his name, but he actually did it twice.
Thinking about him.
So there was a guy that attempted Uchimata on him, and was it 80? It was 80 something kilos.
81.
It was 81. Yeah, 81 kilos. This guy attempted Uchimata. He blocked it, went to his knees. The guy went for Uchimata again, and he just threw him with oh my God, what did he throw him with? It was oh God, I just thought about it. I was just thinking about it earlier, but apparently he did it twice. He did it twice in a tournament, but it was really cool counter that he did. The guy went in for Uchimata hard. He just not even stepped over, just used his own body weight and flipped him over onto his own back. Really cool throw.
So I was actually about to talk about him, the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
His name is Takeshi Sasaki.
Yeah, Sasaki. Yeah. That's what it was. Sasaki. I think it was an S in his name. I didn't want to say the wrong name.
Yeah, Takeshi Sasaki.
That's what it was.
It's funny because 2 weeks ago, or like before the Paris Grand Slam, I was looking at him, and I linked a bunch of his highlight videos to Matthew and Peter. And then I was like, look at this guy. And then like, he's so scrappy and so explosive. It's like nuts how strong he is. And he's also really strong in Newaza too. And they're like, oh, this reminds me of Eric if Eric was in his prime. I'm like, yeah, it does kind of remind me of Eric. like super explosive. Yeah.
He's someone to look out for. It was really good. In second place was Russia. They took 3 gold, 2 silver, and they placed in its top in 7th and 5th places. Number 3 was Israel. They took 2 gold, 1 bronze. Then Portugal took 1 gold and then 1 bronze. Azerbaijan took 1 gold, 1 bronze again. And a little bit surprising to me is that France they didn't get no gold. They came up top 6. They're number 6. That's why I'm talking about them. But they got 5 bronze. They got 5 silver. Okay. So they're in the gold medal matches 5 times, but only to come second, no shame in your game in that. But they took 9 bronze medals. 9. That's a lot of bronze medals, I feel like Japan taking 7 gold, but 9 bronze, that's a lot.
I didn't watch Paris Grand Slam, but just based off of what I've been seeing, it seems like France, to me, I might be wrong, obviously, but based off of my perspective, it seems like, they're having kind of like a changing of a guard thing going on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like all their top players and like Teddy Raniere and Abegnenu and there was that other girl just retired. Like they're fading out or past their prime or retiring. And these new crop of people, namely Buckley, which is Shireen Buckley. She's the girl that beat, not last, but before the Olympics, she was the last one that beat Daria Belodid. So she is like pretty good, but I think she's still not quite there yet. And I think that might be the true for the rest of the weight classes. They're just like, they're good. They have the potential, but they need more time to get that experience in high level competition. And
they have 2.5 years, man. They have 2.5 years to build up their game. Because when you have the home field advantage, so you have the Olympics in your own country, that means you get 1 person for each weight class, no matter what. You don't have to qualify. You still want to qualify because you want to prove how good you are, but you don't have to qualify. Your country gets 1 person in each weight class. So these are the people that you're going to see in 2.5 years, or I want to say 3 years, but 2.5 years, what are you going to call it, that are going to be representing Paris in the Paris Olympics. So all these people that got the 9 of them that, was it? Yeah, 9 of them that got bronze. Let's see how they come up. If they're going to be getting silvers and golds, hopefully in the Olympics, represent their country.
Yeah, so, I'm really excited to go back and watch these fights based off of the highlights I saw. Like I'm looking on the side right now, like based off the highlights, I'm just super excited to go back and watch it. So
is there anything else about the Grand Prix you want to talk about? I mean,
no, because I didn't watch it.
No, because you just we've all bunch of highlights and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Olympics a little bit. Let's talk about the rules are going to change because this happens every Olympics for judo every 4 years. After the Olympics, they're going to see what worked, what didn't work, what they felt hindered judo, what helped judo, and they change the rules on us every 4 years.
In their perspective.
In their perspective, every 4 years. They kind of change them every year a little bit too, but the big changes come after the Olympics. So I know this is a big thing for Anthony. He's a big rule guy. Me, there's some old school things that I like to see or bring back. We'll get to that. But so Anthony, what rules did you think were effective or ineffective in the Olympics this year?
So you said I'm a big rule guy, but in fact, it's not that I like the rules. It's just that I need to know them because most of the time I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Right. Like, why was that called that way? And then I don't want to be one of those people like you see on YouTube or Instagram or on Facebook comments. They're like, oh no, that's a Wazari. And it's like clearly an Ippon, or like, oh no, that was illegal. Like people that say stuff without actually fully knowing the rules or that it's changed. Because a lot of people that say that stuff either never ever read the rules or they read the rules, but that was like from like 10 years ago. So I just don't want to be one of those guys. I want to be constantly up to date so that I can actually give a fair assessment to how bad the reffing is. The calls are like,
you get some heat now. Gonna get some heat for the refs.
Philippe talks about it at the coaching clinic too, that he teaches is that if you don't know the rules, how are you going to go coach a player? And how would you know that your player got screwed over? Right. The kid you're coaching got screwed over. But even if you get screwed over, there's nothing much you can do about it. But at least you can tell the kid like, yeah, the ref screwed up. So, at least it's kind of like helps me sleep at night to know it was like I got screwed over or the kid got screwed over and it wasn't like their fault kind of thing. So that's why I'm really into the rules. And that's why I always, I don't watch the full 6 hour referee seminar.
You gotta watch the 3-day thing, man.
I usually watch the summaries, or they usually output some slides, or they have this tool where they go, they kind of show you all the circumstances and cases and what it's like a quiz. What would you call this scenario? And then they tell you why they called it one way or the other. So I would do that stuff after every referee meeting that they have, but I don't sit through the whole 6 hour thing that they have. But yeah, so I think the point of this episode, we were going to basically talk about what we think they're going to change and what we would like to see changed. Right. So,
yeah, I guess so.
Most of the stuff that they do, it's not very logical. And that tends to happen with large organizations when you have multiple people having to try and get them to come to agree in something. And you see that in politics, right?
Yeah.
So it's like one person thinks should be this way. The other group of people thinks it should be that way. And someone else thinks it should be this way. And you end up with a compromise that basically makes no sense and pisses off everyone. So that's basically how I feel like they come up with these stupid rules.
Well, it's more that there's things that are going to harm my student. Like this is stuff that my students don't like, or the way my country style of judo and stuff. This is something that doesn't work for my country's judo. So I want to get that out. But then other countries are like, no, that helps my country's judo. I want to keep that in. Then that's where we get the compromise of like, okay, so we'll do this instead. And I love it. If you ever watch the coaching or the reffing videos every year, a score or no score, please let us know. A score or no score. I ask you guys, please talk to me. A score or no score. I love that guy. I'm so sad he stepped down. I love him.
But so I think I was reading on Reddit, someone mentioned, I didn't listen to the podcast, but they said Judo Fanatics had a podcast, and I didn't know that, where they brought on Neil Adams, and he mentioned apparently that they might simplify the gripping rules. Because let's be honest, gripping rules are freaking confusing as hell. Like, and then they change it like even not even once per Olympic cycle. Like they changed a couple of times where it was mid cycle. They would change. Okay. Pistol grip's not allowed. Okay. Now pistol grip's allowed. But you have to attack, or you can only hold it for 5 seconds. And then they're like, okay, let's give them more time to hold it. So, but only and they would use terms like unconventional grips. You can hold for 45 seconds.
Oh God, that's so.
Yeah, that's the part I'm still. I can't remember off my head, but basically, if you can hold crystal grip or something for like 20 seconds now, 25, 30, 40 seconds, whatever. But if you like do the same sided grip, you have to attack right away. So it's
that's what bugs me, because I hate that, because because this is what gets me. That's something that does bug me and does confuse me a lot. And it's tough to tell somebody when they want to use an orthodox grip what they can or cannot do. It's like, okay, you can grab up to the collar, no problem. But if you go past the collar's middle, then it's considered unorthodox, and I can only hold it for 45, or I have to attack immediately. But I can hold right at the middle of the collar up to 40 some seconds. And pistol grip, I don't know why people like doing pistol grip. Like, it's not I'm not saying it's not good or something.
I like pistol grip, actually.
I'm just saying, I don't know how people learn pistol grip when you don't teach it. There's always some white belt that wants to start doing pistol grip that always see it from somewhere and be like, oh, I want to do this. I'm just like, I don't know to tell you. I don't know if I can tell you, yes, you can do it, but you have to hit it immediately. Or yeah, you can hold it. But
this is why I don't
42 seconds.
This is why I don't teach beginners grip fighting. Like it's just such a waste of time. And one of the beginners actually asked me when I went through it with them, like how important grip fighting is. Like I was like, okay, try and throw me, and I just grip fight him the whole way. He couldn't even enter because I'm just like that much better than him, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, why don't you teach these to people? Like if it's so important and it's so dominating when you beat someone like that, why don't you teach people this? Because I'm like, because judo is about throwing people, and how many throws that we just like do. I grip fought you for like 4 minutes. How many throws did you just try? It was like 0. I'm like, yeah. And I told him like, I can teach you the very basics of grip fighting that will make you gain an edge at a tournament within like half an hour. So I'd rather you guys spend more time working on movement, throws, attacking mindset and stuff like that. But that's another topic. But
yeah, that's another topic for another episode.
Yeah. So I'm glad the thing I'm scared about is what they call simplifying gripping rules might not be what everyone has in mind, Mm-hmm. So maybe they're like, we're going to simplify it so you can only hold the lapel and sleeve. Like, can you imagine that? Like, that would be insane. That
would be very traditional judo fight. You can only hold traditional grip now. You can only hold you can't go for unorthodox grip of any sorts. That would, oh my God, that would limit so many people.
I think they should. This is like a very controversial opinion, but I still think you should not allow arm lock throws, because I think it's dangerous. But I think you should allow standing arm locks and standing chokes. Mm-hmm. That would resolve a lot of the stiff arming defensiveness we see. And also, I think it would like make people attack more and less defensive, and the gripping in general, they'll do some less stupid grips because there's a risk of being arm locked or wrist locked or something. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's one way to go about it. I'm not sure what the side effects will be, because over time people will figure out loopholes and meta shifts, and then you got to change rules again. And you can see that in video games too. Like they fix one problem. It's like they fix one problem, but then people learn how to work around it, and different problems pop up. And that's just how it is. But doing stuff like removing the, like, I'm trying not to mention the leg grabs, but removing the leg grabs.
We're going to get to leg grabs. We're going to get to leg grabs.
So
get to it.
I think they're going to simplify it, as in maybe unify that you can get these unconventional grips, but you have a flat time, like 40 seconds or something, versus this grip is only 45, this grip is 5, and then this grip has to be immediate attack.
Immediate. Yeah. So, and I think that would make,
go ahead.
I'm saying that would, I think, would simplify it. Just make all grips like 25, like the whole stupid thing is that it's, you can hold a grip for 42 seconds. Why is it 42 seconds? Why is it 48 seconds? Why is it weird? Like make it a simple 25 seconds. Okay. You allow to hold a grip 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay. Cause 30 seconds, that's a long time of a match. Okay. Yeah. We fight for 4 minutes, but think about that 30 seconds of holding a grip. That's a long time. That's a big chunk right there. If you're fighting and a person can't throw you, make it shorter, make it 25 seconds, easy, any grip, 25 seconds. The only grip that's not the only grip that would give exception is this traditional grip. If you're holding elbow and collar traditional, that's unlimited, but anything than that is 20 seconds or 25 seconds.
Yeah, that brings me to the other part of the issue about the rule changes over the years is some of the rules in spirit and at first look, they aren't bad. The problem is enforcement. Like if you have the refs subjectively enforcing these rules, like let's say, okay, it's 25 seconds now, but the ref ends up giving 35, 40 seconds to one guy and then like 10 seconds to another guy, you know, like, cause he's not counting, he doesn't have a stopwatch. He's like counting in his head while looking out for other infractions and stuff. I think that's a problem. And overall, more so important than the rules, the reffing needs to be changed to be less subjective. And I know some people, especially, I know Dave Roman's probably one of them because I think he mentioned it before. He's a fan of the whole thing about, oh, nobody wants to see like a finals end in Shidos. So then you see people like getting away with all this crap in the finals match when they should have been Shidoed out like 10 years ago, you know, like
if a match goes entire 4 minutes, it goes in a golden score. And then you're just like seeing them push each other out, holding breath for 10 seconds, crushing people, and they're not getting called on. And like you hear like all the time, you hear Neil Adams be like, oh, they're going to get that Shido right there. They're crushing. Yep. Oh, they got the skin of their teeth right there. They survived that one. Like,
that should not happen.
They're letting them fight.
Yeah, because that's the reason why all these fights are going to golden score, because there's so much leeway and uncertainty about how the refs would call something. And then that comes in the question of the validity of the match. It's like, okay, you beat this guy, but because he got like two, like, especially the Taiwanese guy that we talked about in Olympics, right? How he lost, like he got Shidos like right away. And then the next match, the other guy like never got a freaking Shido at all. It's like, it got away with so much stuff. Like Aaron Wolf versus the Korean guy.
Yeah. That Korean guy should be Shidoed a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago versus the Taiwanese guy. He was just like, yeah, nobody wants to see you fight. It's just like,
no, you're not from a popular country. No one knows you just yet. Okay, man, you gotta follow the rules.
Yeah, so I think that
Japan versus Korea. Yeah. Oh, we gotta let this go. We gotta have a winner.
That needs to be fixed, because one of the concerns about the changes of the rules is that they don't want tournaments to last too long. Like if that was one of the major reasons they changed the Wazari. You know, back then, 2017, the Wazaris kept adding up, and they don't add to each one. One of the reasons they stopped doing that is because tournaments were lasting too freaking long. Each matches were lasting like 10, 12, 20 minutes. So if they don't want that to happen, they first have to like normalize and make the reffing and calls more consistent. They can't having all these subjective bullshit, because then you start saying we're going to fix these problems, but then if you're going to be subjective anyway, then other problems pop up. Like as I mentioned, right? People are going to start doing stuff because they know they can get away with it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's one of the things of, like we said before, consistency in reffing, because one ref will see it this way, another ref will see it another way. A ref that knows Newaza will let someone work in Newaza and see like, oh, I see they're going for an armbar. I see they're going for some sort of sankaku. They're going for pin. I can see it. Where another ref that wasn't a big Newaza person in their career, or not a big Newaza fan period, will be like, okay, they went to the ground. They're in guard. Okay, stand back up immediately. It's like, well, let them. They say, let them work. Let them work. They always say that in the coaching things. They say it in the videos all the time, the IJF and stuff. Let them work. But you get these refs that don't know Newaza or don't know anything that will just stand people up. Like I bring this up all the time, that Winter Nationals where I was in Newaza situation. I grabbed the leg to go for a clock choke, and the ref stopped the match immediately and stood us back up and told me, oh, you're not allowed to grab the leg. I'm in Newaza. He wasn't in all fours. We're in Newaza on the ground flat. I'm allowed to grab his leg. And I looked at the side refs and they're just like, no, just keep on going. I'm like, this mother right here.
So as I said before, like most people aren't going to keep up to date with the rules, with the way how fast they change and how hard it is to come by that information and unclear it is. So if these international refs can't get the calls consistent, like how do you just, you'll have these refs at the local level that just make the calls based off of the matches that they see that are inconsistent, and that's what they're going to start calling. Is what they think the rules are from what they see, but that's a whole different issue. The local ref issue is like another thing, but
that's another thing. But I'm just saying that you get a human element of who knows what is, and if you don't know what is, you're not going to call it. You're not going to understand it. So that's your thing with grip fighting. Is there another thing that you're interested in? Things changing. Or
yeah. Before we move on, grip fighting. Other than
still on grip fighting.
Yeah. Other than grip simplifying, what I think is just going to make all the times the same, is that I think they're going to allow more freedom in grips. It's probably one of I also think they're going to also probably address something with the armpit grip there's a gut, I'm probably wrong, but there's a gut feeling inside me that thinks they don't like that armpit grip that a lot of people are doing, especially Shohei Ono. That's the new belt grip to me. That armpit grip is a defensive grip, the belt grip that people use to keep people away.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more and more people use it. So maybe they'll count that as an unconventional grip. So maybe is what they'll do. Because when you're doing the armpit and lapel grip, using the armpit grip on one side, they count it as a traditional grip because it doesn't violate any of the other rules, because someone can hold it there and it's a pretty powerful grip. Yeah, so that's just a gut feeling I have. What about you? Do you think they're going to change any other gripping rules?
I don't know, because I really wasn't paying attention to grip fight. I'm not a big grip fighter anyways. Like a lot of people that know me know that I don't like grip fighting. I like getting in immediately, grabbing whatever I can grab and throwing from there. Usually when I'm doing it. Yeah, that's just how I am. That's just how I grip kind of guy I am. I'm not someone that fights off grips, try to push someone's hand off. It's like whatever you give me, whatever I see is what I throw with. Like I want certain grips that I like, and I'll try to get those grips. But I'm not going to spend half the match fighting your hands off me, playing patty cake for you for 20 seconds or 30 seconds to fight the match. I like fighting judo. So I'm not the best grip guy to talk about. Like I know basic grip fighting. I can teach you stuff how to be defensive if I have to. But if up to me, I like grab and go, give me any grip that's there. That's why the whole thing, like, give me any grip that's there. Give me 20 seconds or 30 seconds to work. 30 seconds is a long time. 20 seconds to work with it, and that's fine. I don't like this whole thing of like, I'm going to fight you here. I'm going to pull your hand off here. I'm going to grab this to get the one same side. Like, I don't care about that. That's not me.
What would you like? Okay, we talked about what we think the IJF will do, but what would you like to see? What kind of grip fighting changes would you like to see?
I would like to see that if what we talked about before, like what you said, that
just
you can use any grip that you want. Okay. Grip any grip you want, any way you want to grab somebody. Okay. But there's a set time. If there was like pretty much what I said already, there was a set time of like 25 seconds. Let's go 25 seconds. You can hold any grip you want to try to throw somebody. Okay. Other than if you're just doing regular collar and elbow grip or something, or collar and wrist grip or like that.
Yeah.
The two basic grips, you can hold that all day long, whatever you want. But any other grip, you get 20 seconds to hold on to it. Okay. So there's not all this patty cake of trying to get this or trying to put it in here, get the armpit to fist into the guy so he stays away from you. Yep. But they need to be more calling then on passivity, because if you are just doing as defensive, like the armpit grip to push somebody out, or you're just pushing their hand inside and you're not trying to throw them with it, if it's passivity right there, you're stalling their judo, then people need to get called on it. Yep. Everybody needs to get called on it. Okay.
So
the
like
Japanese,
I said,
the French, the Russian, Koreans, everybody. Okay.
If you allow,
not just the smaller countries,
if you bring back like, not even flying Jujikatame, like flying, not even flying armbar, just allow people to drop to the floor and do an armbar, like without a skillful entry into Newaza. That would solve that stiff arming problem a lot. And also standing arm locks, like I said, that's why I think. But then you can't have people using that to delay the match, like people dropping.
But then you have. But here's a
cascading effect. Yeah,
you would have to add in then dageage, so that if you do try to do flying armbar to me, I'm gonna slam the shit out of you. All right.
Well, to avoid people dropping there like that, you have to punish them for dropping that and not getting an armbar. And I think that's where maybe the topic we'll talk about later on is Newaza. Like, I think they need to change how Newaza is treated right now, is like allow people who are good at Newaza more time and time to attack. And I'm starting to talk about it, but I might as well just start into it. There was still a bit of gripping I want to talk about, but they should count attacking someone in turtle in Newaza as an attack. Because I mentioned this in a Reddit comment just yesterday, talking, because people were talking about golden score, like how there's just way too much golden score happening. They're lasting way too long. And my theory behind that was that people are taking less risks now because of the scoring being so like easy. You just fall on the side. And in some cases, if you look at Nagase from Olympics, how he won the gold medal, and the matches before that, some of them were on the side and some of them he threw the guy on the front side. Two of those will land you a win. So why the hell would you risk doing a big throw to get pushed to your side like that easily off balance and then you lose, right? So another thing is I'd like to bring up Klimke because her style of judo is just drops away. And then if people attack her in Newaza and she turtles up or whatever, that doesn't count as attack. So you stand back up and she drops again and you attack her in Newaza. You attacking her in Newaza doesn't count as attack. You'll still get a Shido for not attacking. They should start counting attacking people who are turtling up as being active and attacking.
Trying something.
Yeah. So the whole thing. So that would kind of nullify the whole strategy of let me drop to my knees. And then if it fails, I just turtle up. And then the other guy's going to get a Shido if I just keep attacking.
This is something that I thought that they should not kept in, but modify was that how we have Ippon, Yuko, and Wazari. And they did the thing for a little while. They're trying to do where Wazaris were just advantages, you know? So
what do you mean Yuko? Yuko
for advantages.
Yep.
So say we both have Wazaris at the end of the match. I have 3 Yukos, you have 0 Yukos. I win. Okay.
Yep.
Now what they could do is that make every legit Newaza attack. If it's a legit neck, legit choke, a legit armbar you're trying to get on the person. If they don't tap for it, you still get a Yuko for it. Okay. Because it's an attempt. You tried something.
Now that's going to be very controversial.
Why would it be controversial? We're trying something. It's just an advantage. You can try what you want also. It's the whole thing where
what do you call a legit attack? That's like legit how we're going to define it.
Well, if an arm is being almost pulled out legit would be if the arm is pulled out or not, but you fight out of it. That's a Wazat. That's a Yuko. Okay. If someone has a choke onto you, it's underneath your throat, but you fight out of it, that's a Yuko. All right. If you tap from and stuff, that's equal and whatever. Okay. You can't get a Wazati for
I get where you're going at and I like it, but you're opening a whole can of worms and that's not a small rule change. That's like revamping a lot of a lot of stuff. First you got to bring back Yuko. Then you got to change back the definition of Wazari and Yuko.
Yuko should be back anyways. Because I hate the idea of in this past Olympics, people were throwing people with throws that should have been a Yuko. Okay. But because the rule changes there's such a slight difference between a Yuko and Wazari, it's not a big deal. No, it is a big deal. It is a big deal because people are winning medals. I'm not going to say who. People are winning medals, getting 2 Yukos. All right. Qualifying to be Ippon and winning a damn match when it shouldn't be that way. I think Yuko should be in there because there's a lot of things that just make it an advantage. Just make it that can't qualify to anything, but make it an advantage because there's too many people winning matches with 2 Yuko, 2 bad, ugly Yuko throws.
Not even Yuko is like Koka.
Koka, oh my God. They barely drag a guy to the ground. You're barely on the floor for a Koka. People that don't know that Koka was way, way back in the day.
Koka's like falling on your front.
Yeah. It was like this thing, it was like you attempted, but if you got the person to the ground, it would be a Koka. Hey, he attempted. He tried. So he got the Koka. All right. So people are throwing with these Yuko throws and they're going to be like, okay, well, Yuko's pretty much Wazari, so we're going to give it a Wazari. 2 Wazaris was at the Ippon. And it's like, that's not fair because it's ugly judo now. You're encouraging people to do these ugly throws that would normally be a Yuko.
Yeah.
That now are Wazaris to equal Ippon now. It's just one thing that I hate. It's something I hate that people are winning medals with the throw that isn't even close to Ippon. It's just an ugly throw to me.
Backing up to the gripping. Actually, I forgot what I was going to say about gripping now that we... Okay, continue.
A grip into a Yuko, all right?
No, I just think they should allow... Oh, right, I remember now. They should allow grip breaking. Is what I think. Going back to add on what we said before, they should just look at whether you're attacking, you're being aggressive or not, and then giving you Shido based off of that. But they should allow grip breaking. no more, no 2-on-1, no this, no that. Like, just be like, you have like, if you don't have a good attack in 45 seconds, then you get a Shido. I don't care what kind of, how you get there. Like, just attack. That allows for more freedom and less of like, oh, I need an attack. Well, how long has it been? Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. And then there's also, it removes all the gray area between that. And the only gray area left is how long the ref thinks 45 seconds is. So,
well, that's what the side ref should be doing. In judo, we have 3 refs technically watching a match. There's 2 side refs.
Like a shot clock in basketball.
there probably should be. There should be something like that. They add another section. So as soon as you grip up, like sort of thing always got
yeah.
During all the seconds count, you look at it. Oh, I got 5 seconds to throw this guy. Let go. Hail Mary, Uchimata. Oh shit. Fuck. My lord.
Yeah. But yeah, so we already agree. That's the next thing we talk about, scoring changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely bring back Yuko. We definitely think they should bring back. I think we agree on this. They should bring back the higher standards for Wazari, right? Mm-hmm. Yuko should not be a Wazari. Wazari is landing on the side. And when I started judo, from my understanding, is Ippon is throwing someone on their 4 criteria, right? Throwing someone on their back with power, speed, and control.
Yeah.
You can't just throw them on their back hard and then like lose control and then like that's not an Ippon. And if you miss any one of those criterias, which is either not landing back or not enough speed, not enough force, then or not enough control, then it's a Wazari. And then if you miss 2 of those criterias, then it's a Yuko. Is the way I understood it when I started judo. Do you agree with that? Like, I think they should bring back that standard of Ippon. Ippon shouldn't be like that. That's another topic I'll ask you next, but rolling Ippons, rolling Wazaris, those like should not be Ippons.
Well, the thing with it is just, those are what it should be. That's what the base of everything should be. Those 4, you get rereading every book, you read and seeing all the old videos and stuff, talking about that's what it should be. But I think that it just gets down to the nitty gritty of like, what is it, the most streamlined version of it. Mm-hmm. And when I was doing the coaching and I was at one of the not at a clinic, I was coaching at a tournament, I think. And the way the head ref was like, okay, if they throw so think of like the mat as either like sand or clay. If they throw the person and there should be a crash, an impact zone, it's Ippon. Mm-hmm. If there's not, then it's either Wazari or Yuko. And then they go like, okay, streamline it more. Okay. If they land flat on their back, it's Ippon. Mm-hmm. If they land on their sides of any sort, it should be Wazari. And if they land really on their side, like diagonal up and down side, it's Yuko. Because the thing that's annoying, this is what used to annoy me a lot back in the day when I see this, was that a lot of people would do like these bad kochigaris or ochigaris and sit people on their butt. Yep. And then just because it's a continuous move, they'll just keep pushing them down, pushing them all the way over and be like, oh, Ippon, and be like, there was like, are you calling butt? Are you calling that a butt hit, the impact? No, that's at most a Wazari. That should be at most a Wazari. In my opinion, it shouldn't even be a Wazari.
I lost a ton of matches like that when I was beginning, actually. And I was just like, what?
Yeah, I landed on my butt and then they're like, they pushed me over like Ippon, like how? How's that Ippon? I didn't land on my back. I landed on my backside.
So to simplify it, I think like those highlights we were talking about where we're like, oh shit. Like when you see a throw and you're like, holy crap, that's an Ippon. Like when it makes you get that reaction, it's an Ippon, right? Nobody's going to look at that and be like, yeah, whatever. Like those throws.
The rolling Ippon system now that people start doing these rolling Ippons. I'm going to drag them to the ground and then push them over rolling because it's a continuous motion now. It's continuous motion, which should be Wazari, but no, it's Ippon.
Yeah, I think they should do away with rolling Ippon. And even the current way that they score rolling Wazari, I have problems with. The rolling Ippons now should be Wazari. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. And then the rolling Wazaris now shouldn't be anything. Like, I think they shouldn't even give you a Yuko for that.
And this is my thing. This is just the way I teach, because the way I teach this stuff is that if you do a rolling Ippon or rolling Wazari, then you should be getting into Kesakatame or getting some sort of pinning position from there.
But now you're just seeing them like driving, like pushing.
Oh my God. I hate when I see that the most. I hate when I see those. They do the whole thing where they're arching their back on top of a guy. Like, I put his back in the mat. I put his back. Like, people watch this video like, what's Juan doing?
You see that so often now.
So that should be Ippon, right?
You see that so often. And I know why they do it. Like Nick Popolo does it. And you see when they're on their Instagram for Fort Worth Judo, they teach their competitors to roll onto their back like that, and puts them in a super, in most other martial arts, especially Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're in a compromising position. Your neck is all the way stuck out on top of the guy asking to get choked. Yeah. Like it's just ridiculous that these scorers it's all about incentives. They're incentivizing people to do these kind of stuff. But
you're always going to build your judo around what the score. You're going to build your judo around the rules. That's just how it always is. Any sport, you're going to build your game around the rules. Yeah. So if the rules allow this and rules say this is what I can get, I can use this technique to get an equal.
Give me a little edge.
I'm going to work on that technique. I'm going to develop that style and make it so it works for me. And if you make it that it doesn't work for you no more, guess what? People are going to stop doing it.
Yeah.
Same thing how what we call a scorpion, when people would get thrown and they kick their leg out or they put their neck out to try not to get ippon, because if I don't touch my back, if my back doesn't touch the mat, it's not ippon. It may be wazari or maybe nothing. They took that out where if you scorpion or bridge out on your neck, it's automatic ippon. Guess what happened? People stopped doing it. People stopped doing it because they don't want young people to do it. So take it out. Oh, you didn't do that? Ippon for the other person. What? But I didn't touch my back. You bridged. You scorpioned out. You kicked your leg out to the side to try to stop it to bridge out. That's what happens. And if you make that kind of move illegal, or make it that it's only make it a wazari, I guess, maybe because it would be a wazari.
I think they should keep it, making it illegal.
Just make it illegal per
it's period. Just some of the dumb stuff I see people do to copy competitors. But Abe did it, but this guy did it. I'm just like,
you're not Abe. What's that? What was the arm one that we were talking about the other day?
It was Abe. It was Hifumi Abe. Like he has this weird way of doing his throws where most other people would dislocate their shoulder, basically.
Yeah, and the only reason it works for him is because he's double jointed.
He's double jointed or something with super flexible shoulders. Yeah. So, do you think they're gonna do that scoring change? Like, you think they're gonna backtrack on that scoring standard?
I doubt it. I'm gonna just be honest. I doubt it. I don't think they would, because they work so hard to get it out of there to streamline it for the Olympics. So there's not all these like 10 different points for you to learn and know all these things. They're like, okay, 2 points, half point, full point. Even though bringing in because they used to always call it the quarter point. It'd be like, it's not a quarter point. Just call it an advantage. Bring it, because I know it's like, oh, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu does it. Fine. I don't give a shit. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu does it. I know wrestling. I can't remember how, but there was something like that in wrestling too. But I can't remember. I'm getting old. I can't remember what it is we used to do back in the day. But just make it an advantage. Don't make it a quarter point. Don't call it that. Just call it an advantage.
So we already said what I want to see, right? Like I want to see the ippon going back to the old high standards. Like it's something hard. It should be something that you hardly see and hard to do. And Wazari back to this, basically going back to that. But what I think in reality the IJF will actually do is they'll bring back Yuko and then keep the Wazari. And so when they go backtracking a little bit, when they first announced these scoring changes, they did say Yuko's will be Wazari, but they didn't say Koka's will be Wazari too. They said Yuko. So I think they'll bring back Yuko and then keep the Yuko as Wazari, but then the Koka's, like landing on your front side, will be now Yuko's. This is what I think realistically that's what's going to happen. So basically,
what used to be a Koka is now Wazari. I mean, what used to be a Koka is now Yuko.
Yep.
And we make Yuko's just an advantage, not an actual point. Yep. Just an advantage.
And then the rest will be the same. Like the still rolling ippon, still the shitty ippons that we see. Okay, maybe not. I just said that out loud, but still the low kind of like lower quality ippons we usually see, and then like the Yukos like landing on your side with low impact. Like basically the Wazaris and Yukos will remain the same. It's just that the really, really shitty ones we see will be now Yukos. That's what I think. Realistically, a small adjustment that they'll be okay with implementing, because it's not going to shake things up too much and cause a whole cascade of other things they'll have to do.
Well, they have to also think that, like we said before, there's only 3.5 years. I mean, 2.5 years till the next Olympics. So they can't change too much up.
Exactly. That's why I'm
like
saying that's the most realistic thing that they'll do, which is why I think they'll never ever do that Newaza thing you talked about. Because like I said, it opens a whole can of worms.
I just feel bad when I see people doing Newaza stuff and they're really attempting something. They're really attempting an arm bar legitly, and they get nothing for it. And that's why you get a lot of people that don't work a lot of Newaza, because Newaza is going to get me ippon, but it's not going to get me nothing else. So why am I going to eat up time on the ground if this person's fighting and turtling up, or they got a good clinch on their body, can't get armbarred or something? So I just would like to give them more time on the ground to work on the stuff, and give them something for it.
Is there anything else you want to talk about scoring? And well, I'm sure it's going to be brought up again while we talk about other stuff, but in general, the main scoring stuff we just talked about.
No, not for me, man.
So speaking of Newaza then next, you already kind of started talking about it. I think we all agree that there needs to be more time allowed in Newaza, but I don't think, like, a lot of people just say you need more time, but I think most of the time it doesn't matter. Like, if you look at women, the women's judo, a lot of them have, especially Japanese women, has strong Newaza, and the time limit doesn't really matter because they're actually working it in, right? But if you look at the men, most of them don't even try. They just stand up. The time limit changing the time limit is not going to change any of that. You can give the men a minute in Newaza, but if they're not going to be able to get into the turtle, they're just not going to waste the energy on it. They're just going to stand up. Yeah. And then for women, they might not even need that whole minute. So it's like, they're fine with the time it is now.
I think it is fine with the time it is now. Like, the whole thing about, is it your style? Is it part of your game? Yep. Is it something you do? And to me, it more comes to the point of like I said before, giving them something for attempting, and refs recognizing that they are working on something and letting them work. All right. And if you're a ref that doesn't know Newaza stuff and you're not sure,
that's something we have to fix. That's something we have to fix. Is the refs need to get better at Newaza.
And I do know it's the thing about, like, a lot of older judo players, like, oh, well, all Newaza is BJJ. It's all that Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Gracie jiu-jitsu stuff. And that's not us. We don't want to learn. It's like, no, we have very solid, good Newaza in judo. I love our Newaza. That's one whole thing I love about judo. It's very direct and to the point. Yeah, we don't have what a balaclava holds and whatever balaclavas and all that kind of stuff. Give me the heat, guys. Whatever you guys call your holds and stuff. But I think is that people need to let them work. If someone's attempting something and you see that they're attempting something, let them work. I understand if a collar's across the face, all right, yes, you stop the match. But there was a match, I can't remember who it was now, but I remember watching it during the Olympics. They were legit in an armbar position. They finally got them in position, got that arm right there, and they're about to crank back. And the ref goes, okay, mate. It's like, why? They worked all the way to that position, and now you're going to stop it? You didn't stop it during the turnover. You didn't stop it at the attempt or nothing. No, you stop it right when they get them on their back and they're about to wrench back with everything. Now you stop it. Like, that's just BS. Like, that is just only, like, either you don't care, like, but it could be that time limit. Oh, well, they've been on the mat for 2 minutes or minute 30 or something, whatever it is.
Yeah. So like, I don't think the time limit should be changed, because right now it's like, as long as there's progress, it's just the refs don't understand what progress are. It's something. Some of the refs don't understand what progress are, which has to be fixed. So the time limit, people say just need more time on the floor, need more time in Newaza. Like, no, that doesn't change anything. No. And going back to what we said briefly before, is that, again, I think attacking someone in turtle and belly down in Newaza should count as attacking. And if you keep bellying, like dropping to your knees, then bellying down and stuff like that, you should get a Shido for it.
It should be a false attack.
Well, I don't know.
False attack.
So for those who aren't familiar with it, a false attack is when you, in the context that we're talking about, false attack is when you do a sacrifice throw, like tomoe nage, assuming gaeshi, or seoi toshi, like drop, what people call drop seoi nage. When you do that, you drop down, but then the person doesn't lose balance. So if the person loses balance, like they lean forward to take a step because that dropping motion caused them to lose balance, and it counts as a legitimate attack. So they don't count it as you dropping to the floor to avoid being thrown. If you drop to the floor to avoid being thrown, it's a false attack call too. But in this context, we're talking about dropping your knees, and people drop to the knees, get someone off balance a little bit. And then that way they're forcing them to get Shidos, or eventually get them into those shitty scores we talked about on the side. And 2 of those and you win. So that's why so many people are doing it. But like I said, I think even if you get them off balance, which won't net you a false attack call, if you fail that throw and you just start turtling up and the other person's attacking you in Newaza, then you should get a Shido. This way, first of all, it will prevent people from just spamming those drop attacks, right? Without consequence. Second is to incentivize those people to start attacking in Newaza versus just standing up and resetting, right? Unless you're really, really confident with your stand-up, then at least if you spend that energy to attack someone that ground, you give them pressure and tiring them out, and you might give them a Shido if you incentivize them to do that, right? So I totally think that should be a thing. Attacking in Newaza should count as attacks, not just stand-up. Yeah. And if you're defensive in Newaza, same thing. This should be like defensive and stand-up. You get a Shido.
Yeah. Well, it's easier when it comes to what most people call a drop soanagi and stuff, to see when someone's spamming a drop soanagi just to look like they're not being busy. Just like it's easy to tell if someone's not doing a real ashiwaza foot sweep or kochi, whatever. Just doing something so it doesn't look like they're being passive. It should be just like, we're not stupid. You're a black belt in judo. You're a ref. You should understand. If someone's doing
IJF, that's what a lot of people do, like, namely Jessica Klimke.
Oh, getting that heat there. Going to get beat up one day. Hope you don't go to Canada. But yeah, like I said before, I think that you should be not just encouraged.
Do you agree though? Like, do you think attacking in Newaza should count as attacking, same as standing up?
No, yeah, I do, exactly. Because if I'm doing something, I'm attempting something.
Yeah.
Just as I'm not doing tachiwaza doesn't mean I'm not attempting something. If someone does a drop soanagi and I get to the side of them and I'm trying to do some sort of choke on somebody or trying to roll them over, I'm active. I'm being active right now. And if you're being defensive, not doing anything, I get the whole point of like, so we've been taught this. Okay, if I defend myself and they can't do anything, I get stood back up. Well, if you don't do anything and you're just right there, you're not trying to defend yourself or get up from that position, maybe you should get Shidoed because you are being defensive technically. If you do think about it, like just went on in Juan's head, you are being defensive technically. And if I'm being a defensive stand up, I get a Shido. Well, if I'm being defensive Newaza, I should get Shidoed also. Yep. If you think about it, damn. I think I just had a realization right now. Oh man, I see the light now.
So much sense, but
we need to go IGF with this.
Well, the IGF wants people to do throws and not end it on the ground. That's why. And it's funny because in Fight to Win, there was I told you the Fight to Win match I saw. They did the guy from Mohika Judo that fought the Japanese guy. They did the total opposite because they are a jiu-jitsu based organization, right? Let's be honest. Yeah. So the guy who attacked a lot standing up ended up losing the decision to the other guy who didn't attack just because the guy had closer attempts to submissions on the ground.
Yeah, because they don't understand. Like, hey, if Fight to Win, if you guys are listening to this and you want some refs or some judges, call me and Anthony up. You know, we would love to help you out, set this stuff up so it's more judo based, so it's more proper. And I understand one of our listeners told us like, oh, but they're a black belt in judo too. Yeah, but there are some black belts in judo that didn't compete or don't understand the rules. And as not a high level competitor, but as competitors, as coaches and stuff, I think we could help you guys out. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying we could help them out, develop a better system. All right. Don't send anyone to
I haven't really heard them advertise their judo matches anymore. Maybe I don't know. They said it was popular, but I haven't seen them advertise it anymore. Who knows?
Didn't they do one in Texas recently?
I know they did, but that's through my friends. I just don't see them advertising on Instagram or Facebook and stuff. There's not that much of a push to try and sell that to the judo crowd anymore, as far as I can tell. But the BJJ guys love it.
Yeah, why not? Get some more judo out there. Get more people to do it.
Since we're still talking about Newaza, what do you think about turtling? Some people feel like I don't have a opinion on it because I feel like turtling and pin as a way to win are opposites. There's no way you can get rid of turtling without getting rid of pinning people to win, like as a winning condition.
Why not?
So
Being inactive. You're a defensive player. You get a Shido.
So you get a Shido for being too defensive, so that you would like have to attack in more in Newaza or not do those drop throws. But if you can still lose by being on your back, I still think in the end people will choose turtling over being on their back. But then you have all these BJJ guys or people who cross train BJJ that go on the judo discussion boards and basically say like, you should not be allowed to turtle. Taking your back should count as osaikomi, or like taking your back with both hooks and should be osaikomi. So they're coming up with all these suggestions on how to basically get rid of turtling. And I don't think that's the way to go unless you tell me that taking away pins as a winning condition is something you want to do, then okay, I'll agree that taking your back with hooks or turtling should be, or going on your back on turtles should be osaikomi. I understand that.
Nope, not to this guy. There's no better feeling than holding someone down and they can't get out of it.
Okay, I'm not saying. I know that wasn't my question though. My question is. To me, it's a thing about that. It's one of the more traditional things because the whole thing from pinning position, the whole story about pinning position is that if I hold someone down for 20 seconds, it goes back to the samurai styles, samurai arts and stuff, where if I hold someone down for 20 seconds, by that time I would have pulled up my dagger, a knife, a shank, a shiv, whatever, got a rope, a chain, and I would have choked you out or killed you by that point already. That's the whole point of the Japanese judo pin. Or your samurai buddy comes finish them off.
Yeah, your samurai buddy. I got him. Hold him. Stab him real quick for me. All right. I got this guy. Get your spear over here.
But my question wasn't about removing pinning. I was saying
you're saying if we get rid of turtle.
No, I'm saying in my opinion, you can't get rid of turtling without getting rid of pinning as a winning condition, which is not going to happen. So people are going to turtle. But so that comes into the question I was asking you comes into what people say about how do you stop people from punish people more for turtling, such as taking your back with both hooks in counts as osaikomi. Do you agree with that?
No, I do not agree. Is the easy answer. Nope. Next question.
Okay, well, then why is that? Let's go with that. Because you can turtle, but you still it's still hard to take your back with both hooks in, even if people turtle and flatten out. There's still skill involved. It's not just like, I'm sitting on top of the guy on his back now. It's osaikomi. No, it's not that. You actually have to fight for it.
Well, because if I have someone osaikomi, okay. If I'm in turtle, which since they want me to never be in turtle, I don't do turtle. All right. I'm not Masayoshi. All right. So I would never be in turtle anyways. But if I have someone in turtle, if someone's in turtle position and I'm able to get both hooks in, then I should be able to be fighting to get a choke in. Okay. If I have somebody, I don't control you. I'm not controlling you 100% if I got the hooks in on somebody. Okay. If I have you in a pin, I have you controlled. You cannot move around anywhere. Okay. Where if I have my hooks in on somebody, I do not have you 100%. Yes. If I have strong hips, I can hip you down and pin you. But you can still squirm out. You can still pop over and give up your back or something. But even then, I can still fight the choke. That's my thing about that.
Okay.
If you want to get someone with the hooks, then you have to go for an armbar somehow or go for a choke of some sort. Pull them so now they're belly up, and then you can go for another choke from there or go for an armbar from that position.
Okay. So following that line of reasoning, I didn't plan this question. Obviously, I just came up with it because of the reasoning you gave me. Is that I still think people would choose a turtle because there's no risk in getting your back taken because the risk is still small because of what you said. And due to the time limit, once you get your hooks in, you just have to stall. And I do this all the time. Like people that are stronger than me, I turtle, they take my back and I tuck my chin in and protect my neck, stall, and the ref's eventually going to call mate. Like you can see this in IJF level. How often do people take other people's backs with hooks in and get a choke out of it? Almost never. With the exception of bow and arrow, like Okude Ejime with rolling. That's one of the things where you're actually on the back and choke. But most of the time, nobody does the BJJ back take hooks in fighting for a choke. And one of the reasons why is because the time limit. They don't count that.
Yeah.
I feel like if you get the hooks in, number one, if you get the hooks in, the ref shouldn't stop the action. Like that counts. You getting the hooks in. You're
working for something.
Even if you're just stuck there, not doing anything. I think you shouldn't save the guy by saying mate. He is in a bad position. You shouldn't save him. And number two, they need to get rid of the lapel over the chin.
No.
That needs to go away. I'm sorry. If that's good, I'm fine with it now. We're on
two sides of the coin on that one.
I'm fine with it now.
On that one.
But another reason why we never see chokes, we don't see it often, and also these positions aren't dominant or aren't seen often in judo, is because it's not worth spending energy on. And it's not worth spending the energy on. It's because you do all that work, and then the lapel's over the chin, mate. Like you just wasted a ton of energy. Like there's no reason for that. I get it. I still think there should be no neck cranks. But I think jaw crushes and lapel over the chin, like basically tucking your chin in, shouldn't save you from chokes.
But the line from seeing if it's a jaw crusher or something, or a crossface is so thin, it would be hard to see on somebody.
Well, and obviously, if you have the forearm above the mouth and you're just crushing his face, then it's obvious. But if you're just like kind of like what Khabib did to Conor McGregor, that should be allowed. I think you're crushing the jaw, like that should be allowed. You tuck your chin in, you're gonna get your jaw crushed.
At least fighting dirty today. I'm not fight like this in a damn dojo.
I just want to see more techniques being used. Like we see a lot of pins, but not as many chokes as often. People don't even go for chokes unless they know they definitely have the lapel underneath the chin. They don't even go for it. If they don't get it, they just give up. Like, if you want to see more of those techniques, then you have to change these rules. And like you said, if taking the back is a dominant position, then you shouldn't be stood up for it. And there should be easier path to victory, and not just like, oh, let me just tuck my chin. Hopefully the collar goes over my chin and it ref yells mate. Like,
no, it's something because of, if we're allowed to wear mouthpieces again, then I was
that should definitely be allowed too. Yeah.
They go over the face, but I don't think it's that bad. But the adding of not being able to wear mouth guard, and you get your collar over your face and then they just grind and crush your face, makes bloody lips, get little sores and stuff. It's just an annoying thing that I don't like. But to me, it's just like, again, if we were allowed to wear mouth guards, or mandatory, everyone had to wear mouth guards, they'd be like, okay, maybe that'd be better because it can work.
Okay, let's say they allow mouth guards then. You need an IJF. You need an IJF label on your mouth guard. Like
IJF mouth guard. It has your country's flag of IJF on there. Get the UV light. Make sure it's legit. That's just my opinion. I wish people just got more time to do Newaza, and its refs were more open-minded, especially the ones that don't believe in Newaza. Is there, other than the fact that you don't like it, is there not like a flaw in my logic though? Like I'm trying to get feedback from absolute flaws. Tons of flaws. One doesn't like it. Flaw.
All right. I'll leave. I won't push any further, but that's my opinion.
And all the stuff that Anthony's talking about right now, I'm going to do to him on Friday's class and see how he likes it.
You do it to me all the time. Even though it's not legal, you do it to me all the time.
Name one illegal thing I do to you at judo?
Neck cranks, jaw crushes, crossface.
I never crossface you. I knee bar you sometimes, but all right. So those are the big rules right there. Let's just talk about it just because I always wants to talk about it, always wants to bring it up. Leg grabbing. Is there any way you would see leg grabbing be brought back into judo?
I'm not going to be one of those guys since we talked about leg grabs so much that
that's the thing. People always bring it up.
I'm not going to be one of those guys that's like, okay, we should bring back all leg grabs because there's a reason why they removed it, and that still has to be addressed. And I just think if you do same thing as shitty throws, if you do shitty leg grab stalling, it should be false attacks, or you only get Yuko for it.
Well, yeah, if you like to spam a bad double leg, that's not a judo double leg. It's not a clean double leg. You just spam one from across the room.
False
attack. It should be mate, Shido right there, you know? That's me.
That's one way around it, though. I kind of like how they're going to enforce that. I don't know yet. It's still a very subjective thing, right? It's easy to just say it, but then enforcing it is another thing. Like, how is it a bad leg grab? Like, how would you enforce it? I think in the past episode, one of the things we talked about is maybe only allow certain amounts of leg grabs, like ankle picks, single legs, not Morotagari, because that's the Morotagari.
It becomes too much. I talked to you about it at that point.
Yeah, I talked to you about it one time. Like, what most BJJ people call double legs are actually sukui nage. They're not Morotagari. Morotagari is just it's kind of like reaping the legs with your arms, and that's how most people stall. Is that they grab the legs and then try and pull it or drive people forward to get them to the floor. And the true double legs that we see in BJJ and wrestling is when you lift the person off the floor. That's a scooping throw. That's a sukui nage. So I think you should allow. That's another thing that's possible is you allow certain leg grab throws, but not all of them. So maybe just to avoid the whole gray area enforcement issue and just not allow double legs and single legs. That's one way. And just only allow like teguruma, and which is sukui nage again, or kataguruma, like those big, like let people do those big throws, but not the small throws. That's another.
Well, it's
way
also.
Around it.
Now, when I talk about leg grabbing, a lot of people think that we're talking about just that. Like we're talking about Morotogari, Kataguruma, like the big ones like that, Teguruma.
Yeah.
But also there's things where like you leg grab to get another throw, like a throw that I used to do back in the day. I teach it still sometimes that I do a kochigari to leg grab. So it's a kochigari turns into like an ankle pick or single leg. And then from there I do ochigari.
I love that combination.
You know, it's a really good combination. Yeah. And there's stuff like that you can just grab down or grab to an ankle pick to pick a person up from right there. And then from there, go for like a harai goshi or a hana goshi, even uchimata. If you it's really cool if you can do it with uchimata and stuff like that. And those are techniques that are being lost. People don't think about because all they think about is they got the focus blinders on and they think of leg grabbing throws. There's things about adding leg grabs into your throws to add more control or add a different aspect to it. So that's something that I think that if you leg grab into a throw, maybe that could be added, but it can't be just Morotogari. Like Morotogari just got destroyed by people. Okay. Yeah. It got overused. People use it all the time. It should have been Shido and stuff, and they just got too much like wrestling. Just take it out.
But like I said, it's just easier to just get rid of that one technique because of how it's being used for stalling, and enforcing it will be impossible, I think. But that's what we'd like to see, right? I just talked about those are two options and what we'd like to see, but they're very reiterated many times through many channels and many people, including Neil Adams and the president Visor said leg grabs aren't coming back. They already said that.
They ain't coming back.
Realistically, what I think they really, really, really should do is stop penalizing leg touches. Like, remember that Taiwanese girl that tapped the girl in the butt and let go? And she got like her third Shido for it. Like, like things like that.
If she just touched it, it's like, I didn't do nothing. Just kept on fighting. It'd been fine. But because she tapped it, it was like, oh no, hot lava. I didn't mean to do it. That's why she got in trouble for it. All right.
Yeah. So things like that, or doing a harai and then, or kochi makikomi and your hand touching the leg, like stuff like that needs to go away. Like really.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we should allow leg grabbing to enhance throws or help throws, make it more dynamic, change things up and stuff. Yep. Like the reverse seonagi thing that we were doing, the reverse surikurin. What throw was I throwing you with the other day?
Soda surikurin goshi with the hand.
Reverse soda surikurin goshi. So with the leg pap right there. I'm not grabbing your leg to take you down. I'm using it to enhance, to help the throw.
It's like a harai goshi, but with your hand.
It's to help the throw out, and that should be allowed. Like I understand just grabbing a leg and dragging someone down. Yeah, let's get rid of it, but let's bring them back to enhance, to help out throws, to make them more dynamic, to do cooler stuff, you know?
Yeah.
That's what's my thought.
I get why they did the whole, you can't touch below the belt things, because people were not grabbing and you just pincering with their arm to use it as like a pseudo grab kind of thing. They wanted that to end too. But I think allowing those pincer grabs were fine. Really, it was really fine. It's not that big of a deal when it happened, and I don't think they need to be like, you can't grab below the belt. You can't touch below. I'm not even gonna say grab. You can't touch below the belt.
Yeah, you can't graze. You can't look at it too long, and you might get Shido'd.
Yeah,
he looked at a knee. Shido. Oh, what? I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that needs to be fixed. Too many matches I saw. Well, it's not that many. Let's be honest, but it's more than it should, where people lost just because their hand like grazed or they accidentally during grip fighting touched the butt or thigh, and they weren't even going for attack. They just touched it and let go, and it's like Shido. Like yeah, that just shouldn't happen.
So that's just one of our things. I think that leg grabbing to enhance a throw should be come back. To throw for like kataguruma, morotogari and stuff, yeah, we should just get rid of, like, just keep it out, just make it easy. But to enhance a throw, if it's something else to fix a throw, yeah, I think we should bring him back. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Anthony? Any other?
No, I think
what
other stuff regarding rules are there to talk about? I mean, it's one more topic I want to talk about. It's just removing techniques. We need to really stop doing that, other than stuff like Kani Basami. Yeah, that's
a simple thing right there. Stop removing techniques and just make them legal.
Yeah, I mentioned. Did I tell you the other day? I saw that they removed udegaeshi.
Yeah, you told me, but they replaced it with something else, didn't they?
No, they just removed it. Udegaeshi is not allowed anymore. And I posted on Reddit, and everyone was like, what? Like, they didn't know that happened. And it was the video the reffing clinic linked for the reason that they banned it was like legit, like an arm lock throw. It was an arm lock throw. And I'm like, but most udegaeshis aren't like that, you know? So just banning one technique because someone did an arm lock throw. You can just say that was an arm lock throw, Hansokumake, versus just banning like udegaeshi. I think that's just ridiculous. Though Eric did do it one time to me and almost ripped my shoulder off. So, yeah.
And on that note, I think that's it.
Yeah, but basically stop removing techniques. Like put udegaeshi back. Yeah, and I'd like to see dakiage come back. Above makes total sense. You raise someone above the waist.
You got me on that one. Yeah, you do got me on that one. I do agree. Dakiage should be brought back. Definitely, if anything, dakiage should be brought back, and it shouldn't just be like, oh, you have to lift him up this high. No, I can slam him.
I don't want no slamming. Come on.
Hey, they know what's coming. They can let go. It's their choice.
Hey, they can let go before you raise it up the waist.
Yeah. So, all right. So is the little tidbits right there for you. See how Anthony fights. He's a dirty fighter and we do a lot of stuff just on Friday. Okay. I'm letting y'all know that.
Hey, I just go by facts and logic. So I mean, I personally wouldn't do all that stuff. So
yeah. So if anyone out there has any suggestions of what they think should be changed or what they want to see changed or things,
leave it in the comments or email us.
I know some. Yeah, please leave it in the comments for us. All right. I know it's gonna be the same thing. How about leg grabbing? What about this leg grab? What about that leg grab? No, it ain't coming back. I'm sorry. All right.
We'd like to see it, but it ain't coming back.
Yeah, please leave in the comments. Like always, please like, share, subscribe. You can follow us on YouTube at the Tatami Talk. You can follow us on Instagram at the Tatami Talk. You can hit me up. You can Anthony up on the Tatami Talk. Hit me up at the Jerry_Juan. You can follow Anthony at Anthony Throws on Instagram. Anything else? Oh, you can send us stuff directly if you want to hit us up at the TatamiTalk@gmail.com. Anything else, Anthony?
No, we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Oh, we didn't release a short video because we didn't have time to record it. We ran out of short videos to release, but I think we're gonna record some this weekend. So just look out for them in the coming weeks.
We'll be having some short form videos again coming out in a few weeks. And if you're interested in doing some no-gi stuff, you can always look up my no-gi stuff at Catch Wrestling Alliance. I think we might post some on our own website too soon. All right.
Yeah. So we might. We got a lot of feedback that people want to see more of that kind of instructional stuff, but at the same time, we don't want to do stuff that everyone's doing. Like, this is how you do a Kochi combo. This is how you do a Sele Nage. Like, there's already stuff out there, like plenty of stuff. Unless there's some special way,
legs to it. We're gonna add some hands hitting the leg and stuff.
Unless it's stuff that we already, with just some special way that we personally do it, then we're not gonna do that. So,
all right. Thank you, everybody. See you next time.
See you next time.